like to extend a warm welcome to all our fellow Rotarians from other districts in our zone, other states, and around the world. I'm seeing people from all over, so that's awesome. And we especially want to extend our gratitude to RI Director Larry Dimmitt for joining us today. Thank you, Larry, for being here from Kansas. I want to make sure everybody knows to mute themselves, especially those, like I see some people that are just joining us. If you don't mind muting yourself during the call, that would be awesome. You are being recorded, so make sure that, you know, whatever's going on in the background or whatever you're wearing or whatever you're saying, you are on camera and it will live forever. So just make sure you know that. We may encounter some internet issues. Everyone in the whole world is on the internet today, and there's a lot of people on Zoom. So if that's to happen while we're doing the presentation, just bear with us. We will take care of it, and don't hang up. We will fix it, and we'll continue on as soon as it's fixed. And if you have any questions during this program, if you can go ahead and just write down very clearly on the chat section, Amber showed you where that was. If you can mark clearly question and who it's for, Amber and I will be monitoring the questions and for Q&A. As soon as we get to that, we'll make sure your question gets answered. And on the agenda today, it's going to be a really great program. I'm excited to hear about all this and for us to make some really cool announcements. So we're going to first be hearing about the Rotary Foundation. It's COVID-19 response. That's going to be a very detailed, like really clear, awesome presentation about COVID-19 response from Rotary Foundation. Then we will hear about our District 5870 COVID response to the COVID-19. It's going to be a really cool announcement at the end, so make sure to stay the entire program. And then we'll have a Q&A after that. So with that, I am going to give it up to District Governor Jim Henry.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We keep having people join us as we keep going along on this. I too want to extend a special welcome to our RI Director, Larry Dimmitt. Thank you for joining us again. Larry's been on a couple of times with us, so it's great to have him back. Thank you for all the Rotarians from other districts. I see so many familiar names. Tom Gump, and I see Mary Ann, and I see Sharon Miles, and people from all over the world. Christelle, I see you again with us, so appreciate that. I see Clarence driving his car around, making another delivery. Way to go, Clarence. We've got a great program here today, and I'm going to kick it back to either Patrick or Amber, and I guess we can get the program started. Again, thank you so much. I know it's an hour out of your day that everybody is busy at this time of year, but thank you so much for being with us. And it's the same Zoom link every week. So if you want to join us again, just keep hitting the button and showing up. Again, thank you all so much for being here today.
Thanks, Jim. And now we're going to give it to past District Governor Rich Kay, who's going to introduce our special guests.
Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate that. I am delighted to be able to introduce Renee Reiling this afternoon. Renee has been with us now since January of 2019, and she's just been a pleasure to work with. If you've ever done a global grant and you get stuck on the complexities and want to really understand if the word is, call Renee. She's receptive, she's friendly, she'll get back to you immediately. Some of you probably have already recognized her. You may not know you know her. She's been a visitor in our district every summer for 3 years at least, doing RMDTI. And I suppose, Renee, you would have been back this year had RI allowed you to travel. And we're still working our way through that. We're not quite sure yet what we're going to do at RMDTI. So with no further ado, since we're already 10 minutes into the hour, Renee, let me let you take it away and drive the show.
Thank you so much, Rich, and hi everybody. I think I've met maybe many of you at that event that we have every year in Austin, our RMDTI. But I'm really happy to be able to be on this call with you. I am District 5870's Regional Grants Officer, but I'm also the Regional Grants Officer for all districts in Texas. So Been happy to work with you for the past year. I have been working at Rotary for going on 23 years now, so I'm pretty familiar with how Rotary works, and I'm always happy to be a resource for you for any type of question that you have. So today I'm going to go ahead and talk about how we're responding to the pandemic. So let's get started. Oops. Sorry about that. So Rotary Foundation is providing a menu of options to address the pandemic. Now those three options are district grants, disaster response grants, and of course, global grants. So let's talk a little bit about district grants. Now the annual district block grant is funded from your district designated fund. What you could do to address COVID-19 is repurpose any current district grant, and this is for the 2019-20 year. Any grants that or projects that haven't gone through, or if you just want to cancel them and replace them with COVID-19 activities, that is completely fine. We're happy to update your application with those changes. All you have to do is send me an email saying, hey, you know, I want to replace this project with a COVID-19 project. Tell me a little bit about what it is. And most COVID-19 projects that I have seen actually lately have been for food supply, for PPE, for medical equipment such as ventilators. So we're happy to work with you to update your district grant application to reflect those new activities. Now, another option is that clubs may use their own resources now and then be reimbursed with their 2020-21 district grant. So if they want to do, if the clubs in your district want to conduct COVID-19 activities as of March 15th, Rotary clubs were allowed to do so. And for the first time, we are making this exception to reimburse them with 2021 district grant funds, which will be available after July 1st of this year. Finally, the 2021 district grant does include supplemental district designated funds. So district leaders should have received a communication notifying them that a little bit more DDF will be available in the district grant. So keep in mind that those funds are going to be available for COVID-19 activities as well. So let's talk about disaster response grants. You may have heard that the trustees moved $3 million from global grants into the disaster response fund to address COVID-19 activities. Every district may request one $25,000 grant, or up to. It doesn't have to be $25,000, but up to $25,000. Now, there was some confusion also about clubs being able to apply for these grants, and that is not the case. Only districts may request a disaster response grant. Now, districts may donate their district designated funds /DDF to the disaster response fund, and can also contribute cash contributions. So far, as of today, the Rotary Foundation has awarded 172 disaster response grants worth approximately $4 million. Applications are coming in every single day, and we currently are out of funds. The funds ran out very, very quickly. So the Rotary Foundation is holding these applications in line until more funds become available. And finally, global grants may be used for medical equipment or recovery activities related to COVID-19. What's really makes this a much easier process to apply for is that the trustees have waived this 30% contribution from the international sponsor for these COVID-19 global grant projects. Normally, we request at least 30% come from outside the host country. This is not required with these COVID-19 projects. As these applications are coming in, we are prioritizing review. I'm trying to turn these around within a day. And so far, we've awarded 107 global grants for COVID-19 activities, and this is totaling over $8.1 million. Any existing global grants that are for disease prevention and treatment are allowed to repurpose any leftover funds for COVID-19 projects. So that's another option that Rotarians are taking advantage of, as they tend to have leftover funds from their global grant projects. So I hope I've explained these options very clearly. I imagine there are a lot of questions about these options, and I am more than happy to answer them. But that concludes my presentation, and thank you so much again for having me here.
Thank you so much, Renee. And we're going to get to questions at the end. So if you have questions for Renee, please go ahead and write them down in the chat section and make it clearly marked for Renee. And when we get to the questions, we'll make sure they're asked. We now like to give it back over to Jim, who's going to talk about DG Jim, who's going to talk about our response in the district.
If I can get myself unmuted. Yeah, hey, thank you so much. But before I get started on that, before we get started on that, I would like to ask Director Larry, I want to remind everybody that tomorrow is the Rotary International Telethon, which begins at 10 a.m. our time. Larry, is there anything that we need to know especially about that? I've had a question from a club that I may ask you about that, but is there anything you want to say about that before I get started? Larry, you're still muted.
Was that for me?
To participate at 10 a.m. Central Time, and encourage everybody to attend and hear all the great things that are being done by Rotarians and Rotaractors throughout the world, and also an opportunity for everyone to make donations to the Disaster Response Fund. So other than that, Jim, I think I encourage everybody to take advantage of this unique opportunity.
Okay, I had a question from a club, a couple of questions, and if you don't know the answer, that's fine. Or if you do, if you could help us out. One of the clubs wanted to know if during the telethon, if a club wanted to donate, can they donate it through the foundation to get the recognition for doing that? And secondly, if there's any kind of electronic transfer of funds available.
Jim, I have a question right now into RI on seeking an answer to that first question. So I haven't heard back yet on the response to that. And as far as electronic goes, I'm sorry, I'm not aware of whether that can be done or not, but I'll be glad to check for you.
Okay, and we also, and some of you Facebook fans may be able to answer this. We had a question of, if you're not on Facebook, can you still access the telethon? And I believe you can, but does anybody have a better answer than me on that? If you don't have a Facebook account, can you still access the telethon?
I don't know that answer. Renee, do you know that by chance? I think it's on Facebook Live, so I think you'd have to have a Facebook account. But I think if we can, and we'll check on this while we're on, I'll go on the Rotary International site and see if I can get that answer for you towards the end.
I'm not familiar.
Okay, well, hey, Director Larry, thank you so much. Again, everybody, if you can, join our telethon. If you're in our district, it's on the front page of our district website that tells you how to get on. So if you can, do it. But what I wanted to talk about a little bit about, and Renee, thank you so much for your presentation and giving us an insight in what's going on with the foundation, because there's a lot of things that are different this year for the rest of the year, and some things that are going to be different for next year. One of the things that Renee talked about were some of the things that we can do with our existing district grants this year. for Renee and some of the folks that aren't in our district, we call them District Assistance Program grants or DAP grants, but I'm going to refer to them just in generally as district grants. So Amber, we're going to talk about the first couple of slides. Excuse me. This, an email was sent to all the Rotary Club presidents and to the foundation chair about 3 weeks ago about some things that you could do with your current DAP projects. And so we've got a slide up that kind of illustrates some of the things that you can do if you're completed, if you need more time, if you're not going to complete it. So if your district grant, if you've completed it, go ahead and send in your final report. Now, some people have completed everything except they haven't had the ability to, say, go into a facility to install shelves or to stock shelves or things like that. If that's the case, go ahead and send in your final report and just make a note on that. If that's what you're doing. If you need more time, there is a that was sent to the presidents and the foundation chair. There's an extension request. I understand the form says it's going to end yesterday for extensions, but I believe, and I'm not sure if Christine's on with us or not, but it's my understanding that Christine, that they can still ask for an extension. Is that correct?
They can. We just would like you to do it as soon as possible so that we can keep on track with all our DAP projects.
So that's
like next few days would be ideal.
Yeah, so that's where you've pretty much completed most of your project, but you just haven't been able to do it, but you think you can do it pretty soon. So you can ask for an extension. Then if you've got a project that you have that you just can't complete, either say it's related to RILA or it's related to a school, something that you just can't do, then you can send in a new application to do a COVID-19 related, which some of you have done. So that's kind of the options that we have on those. You can see it on the screen. Again, your presidents and everybody and your foundation chair were given an email that detailed this about 3 weeks ago. So we're trying to follow what Renee talked about, giving you as much flexibility as you can. These are you can see on the screen what you can do if you've not made any purchases, if you need to send your money back. What I suggest is you get with your club presidents, you get with your foundation chair, you send Christine an email if you have any questions about what to do, where you are with your current DAP grants. Also, I don't know if Patrick, if we also have with us Tabitha Sparks, who is our annual fund giving officer for our district. So Tabitha, can you kind of wave at us and again, Tabitha's been a big help as we go through these changes in what we've been able to do through our foundation. The crux of what I wanted to talk to everybody about today, and there'll be again, if you've got questions for Renee or Tabitha or Christine or me, put them in the chat box, and we'll try to answer those at the end of this meeting. But what I wanted to discuss a little bit was exactly what our district has done to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic that has been spreading, and we've done a lot. One of the things, and Amber, I guess if you want to start those slides, what we have done, we've done 2 or 3 different things. Number one, as you can see, we have already, through our DDF, we have already contributed $25,000 to the Rotary Disaster Response Fund, earmarked exclusively for COVID-19 projects around the world. That was done a couple of weeks ago, so that should be distributed wherever it can be around the world to the places that need the biggest help on that. We've also got a district grant going. which has now been approved. As you can see on the screen, we've got a total of $61,102 of our DDF that we are contributing to local hospital organizations for the sole purpose of purchasing personal protective equipments so that it can be used in hospitals and it can be used in clinics throughout our district. As you can see, the three organizations that have received the grant are the Seton Health Foundation, the Baylor Scott and White Foundation, and the St. David Foundation. And this is, you can see the amount of money that goes to each one of those. Seton and Baylor Scott White get a little bit more because they have a bigger footprint in our district than St. David's does, although they all do a great job in getting with these hospital organizations. Their footprint, they may not be in every community, but their footprint serves our entire district, where people in our district are able to take advantage of their facilities, their hospitals, and their clinics. One of the things that we had to do in order to get this done, Rotary normally doesn't allow you to just make a direct cash contribution. In this case, they allowed us to do that. One of the things we had to do was get letters from these organizations stating that they would use the funds that we're giving them strictly for COVID-19 related PPE projects. And we've received a letter from all three of those. I want to read you one of the letters that we got from Baylor Scott and White. It was, and thank you to Rich Kay, past District Governor Rich Kay, who was our contact person getting on with Baylor Scott White, thanks to past District Governor Jerry Chapman, who was our contact with the Seton Healthcare Foundation, and also to Oliver Smith of my club, the Rotary Club of Northwest Austin, for being the contact to the St. David's Foundation. Oliver is actually on the board of directors of the St. David Hospital in Round Rock, so he had an end with them, and we contacted them all. And again, the letter from Scott White, I think they're all great, but I really like this one. The letter says basically, on behalf of Baylor Scott and White Health, I wish to thank Rotary District 5870 for your extremely generous gift in support of our COVID-19 relief efforts. All gifts to the Baylor Scott and White Central Texas Foundation are donor directed, which means gifts are used for the purpose for which they were given. In this instance, Rotary's generous gift will be used solely to purchase personal protective equipment, including masks, gloves, face shields, gowns, etc., to protect our frontline healthcare workers. Our frontline staff are working tirelessly to care for our patients and to keep our communities healthy. Rotary International continues to take challenges wherever there is a need. We cannot tell you how much it means to us that Rotary has stepped forward in this way. At this time to combat COVID-19, we will be able to provide these critically needed items because of your organization. We are most grateful for your generosity. Sincerely, Janice Sharpley, President of the organization. And we received similar letters, we received similar letters from the other two organizations. The next thing that I want that was our district grant, which was approved, which also included the 61102, also included funds from clubs that were unable to use their DAP grants this year. And so they generously allowed us to be able to use those as part of our district grant. Renee had mentioned the Rotary Foundation Disaster Recovery Fund grant. We sent our application in, as most of you know, and I'm here to tell you today that we got notice on Wednesday that our application was granted, that we're one of those 172 applications that have been granted. We are going to do the same thing with that money. that we did with our district grant, in that money will be divided, and you can see the numbers there. That money will be divided equally among the 3 hospital organizations. So when you look at all the money that we've done locally, the money that is being used locally to these hospital organizations, when you add the $61,102 to the $25,000 disaster response fund grant that we got from the Rotary Foundation, that totals amount of $86,102 that we're able to use locally for our hospitals and clinics to benefit our district. When you also add in the $25,000 that we gave to the Rotary International Disaster Response Fund, directed exclusively for COVID-19 related activities, our district has contributed $111,102, which is an amazing amount. And it doesn't include the applications that have come in from other clubs to do COVID related activities. We've had several clubs that are making contributions and doing things on their own. And so we are so proud of that. Now, I keep saying this is what our district has done. The district didn't do it. Your clubs did it. You did it. The money that you contributed to the Rotary Foundation that comes back to our district, that's what we're using for this. You know, so how are we able to do this? Well, 3 years ago, our Rotarians made generous contributions to the Rotary Foundation when Bruce Golden was governor. 3 years ago, we had no idea that the COVID-19 pandemic would be upon us today. But because of the generosity that you made to the Rotary Foundation 3 years ago, well, we are now in a position to give the help to our local communities, our local hospitals, our local clinics that we're able to do today. You know, we're able to help those healthcare workers that are in the hospitals and clinics throughout our districts. We're helping them to stay safe and to stay protected so that they can treat their patients. Their equipment also helps keep all the patients safe. Your contribution 3 years ago is today protecting and allowing the treatment of your fellow Rotarians that need to be tested or treated if they have this disease. It also allows the treatment of your friends and your family members that may be part of this. The district didn't do this. You did this by your contributions to the Rotary Foundation. Now, you know, we hope and pray that 3 years from now, the money that's being contributed this year to the Rotary Foundation will be able to be used 3 years from now. We really hope and pray that nothing like this will happen. But we have no idea what the future is going to bring. We have no idea what's going to happen 3 years from now. But what we do know is that because of your generosity, because of the generosity of the clubs in our district and the generosity of the Rotarians in our district, that we'll be ready. We'll be able to answer the call just like we are today. That we'll be able to do what Rotarians do. And that is to help all those people in our local communities and throughout the world that are in need. You know, the pandemic has affected not only our physical health, but also our financial health. And I totally understand that. But what I'm asking y'all to do, what I'm asking our clubs to do and our individual Rotarians to do is to re-examine the commitments that you made to the Rotary Foundation at the beginning of the year. And if at all possible, try to follow through on those commitments. If you can't do that, or if you haven't made a commitment yet, please consider some contribution to the Rotary Foundation. You know, any amount helps. It's just like our theme for this year, Rotary Connects the World, and that's what we've been doing. And I'm so proud of all of y'all, the way that you've kept your Rotarians connected, the way you've kept your clubs connected to the community, but you also need to keep your connection going with the Rotary Foundation. We've got to continue our business of Rotary as best as we can until we come out of this. So, you know, this year we're on track for another great year in our annual fund and our total giving to the Rotary Foundation. Jerry Chapman had a record year last year, and we were really on track to get pretty close to Jerry. But of course, it slowed down a little bit in the last few months. But it looks like we're probably still going to be able to top over $600,000 in giving to the annual fund of the Rotary Foundation this year, which is absolutely amazing. You know, and as I said 3 years ago, we didn't know how our money was going to be used in our district. But we're now in a position to help where the help is most needed. And that's why we decided to do these grants the way that we did them, because that is the most efficient and time sensitive way of getting the help to the people that really need to do it. So we're in a great position now. You know, I wonder where our world will be. I wonder where our world will be 3 years from now. You know, what's going to happen? We just don't know. We didn't know 3 years ago, and we sure don't know. But we are, as Rotarians, we're ready to help today. And we need to be ready to help tomorrow. And we need to be ready to help in the next 3 years. So I am so proud of our district, and so proud to be the district governor this year, that everything that you have done this year, and it is all you, the district has the wonderful luxury of being able to spend this money, but nothing can be done without you, individual Rotarians. It's your money. We have it because of what you have done. So continue as best you can with your commitment to the Rotary Foundation, so that we can fund our necessary projects throughout the district with everything that we do on a normal basis, but that we will be able, if there is another disaster like this, which we hope it never happen again, but we want Rotary as people of action. We want to be ready to stand up, and we want to be able to answer the call. And again, I couldn't be more proud of our district than what you've done this year, and how you have stepped up, and how you have answered the call. And from the bottom of my heart, I deeply, deeply thank you all for doing this. So that's about all I've got to say. Patrick, I'll throw it back to you. I know there's probably, I haven't been able to look at it, but there may be some questions in the chat for Renee or Tabitha or whoever.
Patrick, real quick, I'm going to unmute everybody so we can do a round of applause, because if we've ever needed one, we needed it now. I think that was awesome.
Yep.
I see past district governor Rich K wants to say something.
Can I just say this?
Can you mute everybody while Rich talks?
They got to unmute me too. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
I just want to say that on the first day of May, we've already passed $550,000 in annual fund giving. To put that in perspective, it's only the 4th time in the history of our district we've been over 500,000, and we really haven't gotten any money in the last 2 months. You know, all of the social distancing and people, worried about their finances. But you really need to understand how unbelievably generous District 5870 is. The only person, in fact, there's 2 people on this phone call who probably understand what I just said. Director Larry and Tabitha. Because if you look at what the rest of the districts are doing this year, your district is $200,000 ahead of its closest competitor at this point. And that's because of your generosity and all the good work that you've been doing for our foundation. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you, Rich. I also want to welcome our very own RI Director-elect Susie Howe has joined us. So thank you, Susie, for joining us.
Hey, Susie, I didn't see you joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here as well. I just want to say I'm just proud to be a part of this district. And of course, I'm extremely proud to be a Rotarian. This is the kind of stuff that you can share with your community. When they say, why do you spend so much time with Rotary? Well, we're on the front lines. We're the #1 service organization on the planet. We get things done. We mean it with integrity, and the money goes where it's supposed to go. And we are the #1 foundation, 11 years running, 4-star rating on Charity Navigator. And that's unheard of. So thank you. Thank you for what everybody's doing. And Jim, that was very inspiring and I really appreciate it. So now we're going to go to Q&A. Amber, I'm going to let you, there's some questions in the chat feed. You want to go ahead and start reading some of those for us?
You know, I think the biggest question I'm seeing right now so far was about the telethon. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again real quick, just to give everybody an idea of where that is. So give me 1 second here.
And we have, Pam did, Tabitha mentioned that it is on YouTube. And Tabitha wrote that in the chat. And Pam also has put the YouTube link on our Facebook or website, Pam?
Both.
The website. On both. Okay, so you can go to our media's pages and you can click the link and it can take you right to the telethon.
So right here is the district homepage for 5870. And I know Pam's got it right down here on the front page, Rotary Respond COVID-19 Telethon. So if you click on that link, it's going to give you all the information you need about how to view that. It can be viewed without Facebook. We had some clarification on that pop up, so that's great. Just follow the directions there. While I have this pulled up though, I do want to remind everybody that under the events tab is this page for our Zoom series that we're on right now. And so all of the slides that we use today, anything that we need as a resource from these series are going to be housed here on this page, including the previous recordings of series that we've had before in the past, and then the Zoom link for next week. This link is always going to stay the same, so it'll be found right here.
As well as if your district is meeting on Zoom, this is a living document on there. Please let us know if your name is not on that list. We will list your club name, and then people can go to your Facebook page or your website and find a way to get onto your Zoom meeting. So again, if you don't see your club listed on there, let us know. It's a living document, so it's growing by the week, and it's awesome to go visit different Rotary clubs right now. Also, we have service ideas as well. So if you see a service project not on there that your club has done successfully or you've heard about from somewhere else, let us know. We will put that on the document. Pam is doing a great job organizing all that. And we have incredible, I mean, these programs that we've had in the past couple of weeks have been awesome. So share these links with people that are not members of Rotary. Let them hear the great words of Helen Reisler and Jennifer Jones and the Stratford group, as well as the panel of nonprofits in Central Texas. And it's going to continue to grow as the series continues. All right, so thank you, Amber, for showing that. We do have some questions, so let's go here.
Like Christelle is with us again. Hey, Christelle. She had a question for Renee. Renee, if you'll unmute, you've got a question coming your way. Is the polio surveillance network detecting and analyzing COVID-19 around the world? Are we involved anywhere on that?
That's a really good question. And actually, I'd have to defer to my colleagues that work with the polio program. So what I could do is go ahead and take that question with me and get back to Christelle about that, because I don't have that much. I think I would be better addressed by my colleagues who are experts with the polio program.
And Renee, she also was asking, are vaccine carriers helping with education on COVID-19? So thank you for,
yeah, that's another question for our team that works with polio. So for sure, I'm going to take those questions with me and get back to Christelle.
Awesome. Here's another question.
Larry, if Director Larry or Director-elect Susie have any information on what polio is doing, it's my understanding that the polio eradication effort is now using all their resources and everything to help the COVID, the market analysis, the data analysis, how to fight this kind of thing. But if Larry or Susie, if one of you have a comment on that.
Jim, this is Larry. It is true that we have temporarily suspended our house-to-house visits to disseminate the vaccine, and we've transferred those volunteers over to COVID-19 relief efforts. But we are continuing to conduct surveillance in the various areas where that needs to be done. So at the same time that we're helping with the COVID-19 relief project, we're continuing the polio surveillance project.
Perfect. We do have a couple other questions here too. I'm going to read these out, and I think Jim, Renee, somebody will know the answer to this. Jim from West Austin asked, will the transfer of the $3 million from global grants to the COVID-19 activities reduce 2021 global grants funded? Do we know that answer?
I really don't think so. I have not heard anything about that affecting the number of global grants awarded. We are still processing global grants just as we were before. Yes, the trustees did approve additional funding for COVID-19, but as far as I understand it, there are no negative implications on the number of global grants awarded.
Perfect. Another question from Mark. Are grants for COVID-19 activities taking priority over other DAP grant requests? For example, if a club traditionally used their DAP grant monies for charitable activities for a local school, would that type of activity be given less priority at this point?
That's actually a District 5870 question, and Christine's probably better to answer that.
Hey, Christine, come on in.
Yeah, no, we are not prioritizing. I mean, everyone's DAP grant will be treated equally. We go through them on a first come, first serve. So as soon as you get qualified and have your documents in order and your request in and your application, you are good to go.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Does it, Jim, do you have any other, or Rich, do you have any questions that you would like to ask before?
No, I would have asked a question about, since we're moving so much money from the World Fund and the Reserve Fund over to disaster response, would that have a detrimental effect on the World Fund match on global grants? And Renee answered that.
Awesome.
I noticed a comment from Kent Miller of the Rotary Club of Northwest Austin about the letter that I read from Baylor Scott White, and that we've received similar letters from the other three. I'm thinking I can get those over to Pam, and I don't know if we would need permission. I don't think we would need permission from the hospitals to put those on our website, but I think it would be good if we could, under where we have on our district website, under the events tab, where we have the separate file for our Zoom series, that we could post those letters there so everybody can see what all the hospital organizations have been saying, and how much they have how grateful they are for the use of those funds. So I'm pretty sure we can definitely get that done. And
also, I just saw Karen Wilson asked, where do you find the handouts and where are they located? They're all on the district website under the events tab in the COVID-19 Zoom series, and Amber can show that again in a second. I wanted to give RI Director-elect Susie Howe a chance to say anything that she would like to say. Susie?
You all should be very proud of where you are at this time this year. Rich K is exactly right. You have the best team in place. I'm just so anxious to see the programs that you carry out between now and till June 30. It's astounding, impressive. Keep it up. Bring other people in with you. Do more. That's it.
Thank
Well,
you.
Thank you, Susie.
what Jim didn't take credit for was we've also partnered with another Texas district on an in-Texas COVID-19 global grant, which went in today in submit status. So Renee, look for it because it's out of 5730.
Excellent. I look forward to seeing that application.
Well, if that's all we have question-wise, again, Renee, thank you so much for joining us today. I know you're busy, and it's just awesome to have you take your time to be with us today. And Tabitha, same with you as well. And thank you for all you do for Rotary and for humanity. We really appreciate it. I want to talk about what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. Next week, we have a very special guest that we can't quite announce yet. We're just trying to figure out a couple logistics, but trust me, you will want to be here for that. So stay tuned, and we'll announce that person as soon as we possibly can. Stay tuned on our website and Facebook. That will be next Friday, May 8th at 4 p.m., same time, same place, same Zoom link. So again, if you have the Zoom link, save it, come up next week, and we'll have this special guest. Then the next week, we have a very, very special guest, and we're just really honored to have Rotary International President-elect Holger Kanak is going to be here the next Friday. So Friday, what is that, the 15th?
15th.
Here's the thing. He lives in Germany, so we can't do 4 o'clock in the afternoon Central Time. So we're going to be moving this to noon, Friday at noon. That will be a lunch hour. I know there are people that meet during that time. We hope you can just have the whole crowd just come join us so we can hear about what his take is on what Rotary is going to look like the next year. And he's going to talk about how is Rotary going to work during this changing time. And it's going to be a great conversation, and we're just very honored to have Rotary International President-elect Holger joining us in 2 weeks. So again, next week, special guests. We can't wait to announce it. And then the week after that will be President-elect Holger. And we have awesome speakers we're working on past that. So again, we really appreciate everybody coming, and stay tuned for more information on the programs to come. Jim, do you have anything else you want to say? Rich, do you have anything? Amber, anybody?
I just want to thank everybody from the other districts around the country, from around the world for being here. Especially, again, Director Larry and Director-elect Susie. The door is always open for y'all. I send you an invite every week, but we have the same Zoom link every week. I know your schedules are just crazy, and you're up to here with the sharks and the alligators and everything. But if your schedule permits, you're always welcome to
Thank you.
to get in. And again, I'm just giddy over what our district Rotarians have done. You guys just make me so proud. When all this has happened, when we've had to cancel district conferences, when we've had to cancel all the different events, the stepping up that you have done, the connection that you have done, the projects that we've heard about, the contributions that we're making to make our world a safer place. Man alive, I just couldn't be prouder. I can't believe there's only 2 months left in this Rotary year. And golly, I'm just so thrilled with all of y'all. It's very, very rarely am I without something to say or without words, but today is one of those. So I just thank you all so much for the support that the district has shown. Rotary truly is people of action. We truly do give hope to the hopeless. We help people in need. We always have, we always do, and we always will. So thank y'all very much.
Jim, I just want to say on behalf of everybody on this call and every Rotarian in our district, your leadership has been stellar. This is the time when leaders either rise up to the occasion or they fall down. And you have risen up to the occasion. You've been incredible to work with. And we are really just honored to have you. So thank you for all you do. And again, this has been a great year so far, and we're going to still have another 2 great months ahead. Also, this is the time from a PR standpoint to spread the word about what Rotary is all about. It's always great to talk about Rotary throughout the normal time, but this is the time that Rotary is rising above the crisis. We are on the front lines. We are always on the front lines of helping all over the world. So spread the word to your communities about what Rotary is about, and invite them to these next couple of weeks. These are some great programs coming up where some prospective members could jump on and hear about the great work that we're doing, not only locally, but around the world. So again, we'd love to have everybody invite someone to join us. We have plenty of room, so don't worry about that.
Patrick, since you're
yes.
bringing up telling our why Rotary, I want to point out, and I've shared the screen here back on the district website. Guys, that Rotary Rockstar Challenge that we did as a district has been amazing, and we've got such great content from each one of the clubs throughout our district. And I would encourage you to take the time to go in and watch some of these videos that have been produced from each club around our district. we'll come back to that and have more information on the Rotary Rockstar, but it's such a great time to share our story. Why, right? And
yeah, the PR Rockstar Challenge has been a huge success. And so we look forward to sharing more about that success and all the great content that all the clubs did on their own. They did it on their own. Videos, rack cards, information, incredible stuff. So that'll be coming soon. We're gonna have some awards. Again, we're always looking for feedback.
Hey, Patrick, can I give two more quick things?
Yeah, go for it.
Just two more really quick things. And I don't know if Director Larry or Director Susie know any more about this, but it was recently announced that, as we all know, the Rotary International Convention in Hawaii was canceled. But it was recently announced that June 20th through 27th, I believe, will be a virtual RI convention. I haven't got a lot of stuff on it yet. It hasn't come out. There'll be a few hours every day that we can continue to connect throughout the world. So we're going to have a virtual RI convention. Also, my monthly video chat will be downloaded here pretty soon. And one of the things that I talk about is another opportunity for you to serve as a volunteer, and it's called Volunteer Surge. And I have signed up for that. It's a partnership with another nonprofit called Global Impact. They're trying to get, I think it's 1 million volunteers to do service. It's helping out healthcare workers. It's something you can do from your couch. It does involve a little bit of training, and I've signed up for that and just kind of started that. But listen to the video chat. I know you get tired of hearing me, but just listen to it for a little bit when we hear about the volunteer surge. So those are two things that are coming up: the virtual RI convention and this new thing about volunteer surge. Again, Director Larry or Director-elect Susie, if you have any more information on the convention thing, maybe you could share with us.
Jim, this is Larry. I just talked with or spoke with the convention organizer today, and what you say is true about it being a virtual convention during that period of time, and it will be held with breakout sessions and with general sessions as well. And details on that will be coming out in the next couple of weeks. So you'll be hearing more information about the virtual convention in the next 1 to 2 weeks. Looking forward. So thank you.
Awesome. Susie, did you want to say something?
Larry summed it up great. I think the best part is it's cheap to free.
Yeah. And you don't have a 6 or 7 hour plane ride to get to do it either.
Right. Exactly.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys for that, and we'll make sure to keep everybody posted on all of that. Well, if that's all we have, then I want to thank again Renee and Tabitha. Thank you so much for being here. A special thank you to Director Larry and Director-elect Susie for being here. We hope to see you again next week. And for all of our fellow Rotarians visiting from all over the world, and especially our District 5870 Rotary family, thanks for being here. Be safe, have a good weekend, and go serve the world, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks,
y'all can all unmute yourselves now and talk for a little bit, and then we will sign off.
Hey,
Bye, everybody. Thank you all for
thank you for
joining.
having me.
Hey, thanks, Tabitha.
Hey, Tabitha.
Thank you.
Tabitha, thank you.
Bye.
Tabitha, thank you
guys.
so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
You
Appreciate it.
too, Renee.
Thank you, Amber. I found your
Thank you so
slides.
much.
You found the
Thanks
slide?
so much, everyone. This is awesome.
Excellent.
Thank you, Susan. Good to see you.
And if anybody that's still there, if you have any questions about what was done today and you didn't get them in, just email me. If it's foundation related, you can email Christine and we'll get answers to you.
Hey,
Amber,
Pam,
you can
Pam,
stop recording if you want.
what I was asking about was the volunteer thing.
Yeah, it's on the website.
It is on the website. I was going to show it if it was. I couldn't find it. Where is it?
You know what? I had to rotate out the story, so go under the news around the district
Okay.
and go there.
Okay, perfect.
Amber, you can stop recording if you want.
Bye, Chriselle.
Tom,
Bye.
thanks for joining us again.
Bye.
You know what, Pam, let's add that as a link
Yeah,
on
thank you.
the event page, on the COVID page.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I'll do that.